Most of us understand what it's like to receive a system update we didn't ask for. Our phones warn us, our laptops give us notices. System will update tonight. We postpone it, not now, later, tomorrow, until one day it updates anyway. We pick up the phone and think, what happened? Something is definitely different. Menus move, favorites erased, behavior changed. The device still works, just not the way we're used to. Some of us immediately look for a way back. Can I undo this? Sometimes we restart the device. Other times, we power it down completely, only to realize when it comes back up that the system hasn't recovered. And that's when we discover the truth. There is no rollback. In our modern world, we learn to live with updates we didn't request and versions we didn't choose. As a cybersecurity architect, I've spent decades designing systems to detect faults, recover, and rebuild. And sometimes after complete system failure. And yes, some updates are catastrophic. They don't improve the system. They break it. The same can be true for humans. When Jill, the woman I built my life with for over 35 years, stood up and said, "I don't feel well," and died suddenly in my arms, I experienced a catastrophic update. That update would break my entire system architecture. So I did what I've done for my entire career. In my work, when a system stops responding, I send a ping. It is the simplest signal you can send to a digital device. And it asks one question: are you there? If something responds, even a small signal, I know the system is still alive, and if it's still alive, there's a path forward. After Jill's death, I tried to ping myself. And eventually, my mind answered, I'm still here. My head issued commands. Move, code sent, instruction set, processed, and yet nothing moved. My external components were not responding. In fact, they were ignoring my instruction set. I was still processing, just not at the capacity I was used to. And the reality is, there is no rollback. In cybersecurity, when a system is compromised, we establish what is true for our containment policy. What's still online? What data is intact? What is gone? Truth is the guardrail. It prevents you from building recovery on a version that no longer exists. After Jill's death, the truth was simple. She was not coming back. Not tomorrow, not next week. Her signal was gone. She was no longer breathing next to me. And once I stopped fighting the truth, something changed. Truth anchors you in the version of reality that you're actually living in. And the reality I was living in looked like this. I could no longer walk into certain grocery stores. These were the stores we shopped together before our dinner parties. I would enter and immediately turn around. It would take me over a year to walk up and down those aisles. And it wasn't just the grocery stores. When Jill and I went anywhere, I would drive, she would navigate. Over the years, I would reach across the console and hold her hand. After she was gone, I reached across the way I always had, and there was nothing there. I didn't just lose her. I lost my sense of direction. And yes, even with a phone telling me where to go, I still get lost. After almost 36 years of her saying, "Turn here," I have become navigationally challenged. And unfortunately, it's not just navigating outside of the home. I get lost inside it too. Jill's kitchen was her domain. She was Cuban. Food wasn't just dinner. It was her love language. And over the years, I earned promotions. Dishwasher, prep chef, and maybe by year 30, I made sous chef. When I used to come home, I smelled dinner before I saw her. After she was gone, the house didn't smell like her anymore. I missed her. So I went into the kitchen and pulled out her recipe book, not because I had suddenly become head chef, but because that was where she was most alive, in the smells and the heat and the noise of it. When a system cannot roll back, we accept the truth. We don't discard it. We don't shame it. We rebuild it. Not to be identical, but to be operational. Redesigned for a different load, running fewer processes, reconfigured but functional. Everyone will receive an update they did not request. And when that happens, you may not recognize yourself. Your reactions feel unfamiliar. Your capacity feels reduced. You're still functioning, just not the way you're used to. And your first instinct will be to roll back, to restore a version that no longer exists. And what I can tell you from my career expertise is this: we cannot restore what no longer exists. True restoration begins when you accept the current state and design from there. In every system I've ever rebuilt, restoration follows a pattern. 3 steps. First, stabilization. You reduce load, you isolate damage, you prevent further degradation. You don't optimize a compromised system. You protect it. In human terms, that might mean you sleep more. You say no more often. You step away from conversations that demand performance. You create space to breathe. Second, assessment. What still works? What is intact? What can still respond? You don't start with what is lost. You start with what remains. For me, that meant showing up to work. I could go to meetings. I could answer questions. But sometimes I noticed I would go offline. And some days, more than once. And third, restoration. You don't rebuild to the previous version. You adapt to new constraints. That is restoration. If we were to understand that humans are systems, we would stop treating collapse as personal failure. We would allow safe mode. We would expect reduced output. We would stop demanding peak performance from a system that is reconfiguring. And most importantly, we would stop trying to become who we were and start learning how to operate as who we are now. Restoration is not a return. It is a redesign around what still responds. And once we understand that, we stop asking, why am I not making it? And we start asking, what does this version of me need to run safely again? That shift from judgment to understanding is what allows people to come back online. Because even after disruption, even after the catastrophic update that I would receive, there is still a signal, an embedded command within me. Live, not loudly, not triumphantly, but persistently live. Because even when a signal disappears, the memory of it remains in the system. In system architecture, we call what Jill and I had distributed processing. Two components, sharing load, sharing state. In life, we call it love. Thank you.